Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and I find myself once more in Golarion for some more Pathfinder, the Wrath of Righteous campaign in particular. Now, last time we roamed around the Defender's Heart a bit, spoke to some people, and we're going to probably do some more of that this episode and hopefully get outside that big main door. But I do like to be thorough, and so I'm going to roam around a little more and see
I will not falter.
who I can speak to here. So these three are nameless, but Canabra's Crusader, Eaglewatch Crusader, and Crusader, they may have differing views and opinions, which is great. We can go talk to them a bit. Noble Survivor. You're a bit out of the way for now. Peasant Survivor, Citizen Survivor, another Citizen, Peasant, Citizen, Kiado and Vasily. Well, let's go talk to these two. Also, I should be looking for two more of my companions. Here's Lan. And I should be looking for... there we go. Seela herself, yes. Right. I believe what her help is already on the way. The Queen will not leave us to die. A stout old man with a fuzzy grey beard mumbles a prayer, written by an American, or someone who doesn't know how to use a spell checker. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? Who are you? Vasily Raphimus, rector of the local temple of Abadar. The temple is gone vow, and if we snooze here for much longer, the city will be lost as well. Who is that boy with you? This one, Kiado the shepherd, my apprentice. He is a smart boy, and his faith is strong. He serves Erastil though, but there's still something he can learn from the old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric once he gets a little older. What kind of help can I expect from you? Why should I be expecting... Oh, I was going to ask. First, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them. Something for every emergency. Second, while you're here in the tavern, I can read one for you. Guaranteed, no surprises, but you'd better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself. I'm too old and my powers are needed here. Absolutely, look at all these poor people who need your help. Why don't you show me the scrolls you are selling? So I can clog up my inventory with even more stuff. Blessed weapon, shield, protection from evil, magic missile, communal protection from chaos. Okay, it's called Burning Arc. What level is Burning Arc? Create pit mirror image. Hey, actually now, who could use this? Nobody. Huh. Curse of your body, haste, raise dead. Well, I mean, that's just, wow, expensive, you know. I mean, we could afford one. Doesn't mean we should. Right. Remove sickness, paralysis, blindness, curse. All extremely useful. Disease, yeah. Braces of the Wizard. These braces grant their wearer an armor bonus of +2, just as though they're wearing armor, and a +3 competence bonus on all knowledge arcana checks. Okay, rune protection +1 is a straight up armor class bonus. Natural armor +1, again straight up armor bonus, but it will stack because they're different modifiers. Deflection isn't a dodge bonus or a race bonus, so it won't stack. Right. Freedom movement, resist acid, resist cold, so energy resistance, ear-piercing screams, scroll protection from chaos, ray of sickening, snowball, arrow of law. That we might be able to use. I'm particularly looking for things that deal indirect damage and thus don't require attack rolls, like magic missile. that we can also use to effectively combat ethereal foes. Magic missile would be great for that if we had someone capable of using it. And I'm not seeing a lot here, but hey, this is expensive. Guardian of Life. Deathward spells. Alchemist kit. Wait. Allows you to create level 1 spell. Okay. Well, you can only create scrolls up to level 3. So Alchemist kit, potions, Scribe's kit for scrolls, which can go higher level. Okay. I see what we're doing here. Burning Hands, yeah, that is some. So Burning Hands, remember, ethereal creatures take half damage from everything before saving throws, so it would be a very low damage indeed. I think for now we're better off holding off on all of these. I mean, there's just so much here, and it's all scrolls. Some of them quite powerful, but wow, yeah, we just I mean, yeah, there's a few things that aren't scrolls, you know. For now, though, yeah, let's not purchase any scrolls just yet. And instead, let's meander this way. There's Anevia again, let's say hello. Anevia, in her muted colours, blends almost perfectly into the background. She appears relaxed, but her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her, tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on her hip near her weapon sheath. She shows no sign of her injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you, even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh hey! See how they patched me up? Now I can run, jump and dance a jig if I feel like it. So, Anevia is an interesting character, and I've alluded to this in a few episodes before. Interesting in that she's a very Paizo NPC. She's one of those niche NPCs. I need to have a proper talk about her at some point, and I'm not sure if the time is now. Paizo like to have lots of varied characters in their games. They like to have lots of gay characters. And, you know, she's a woman who's married to another woman. That's fine. Now, they've actually done this before, right? In quite a few of their other adventures. Normally, such characters just fill mainly background roles, and they're not the main focus of the adventure. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But it's not just like, oh, look at all of our special snowflake people or whatever. No. But this is different because I don't know quite how I feel about this. Right, so Anevia is a man. Alright? Anevia is a man who always wanted to be a woman and used a magical curse to become a woman, then fell in love with another woman and married her. So it's like, great, they're a couple of happily married lesbians. But then you have to ask yourself, is the fact that she was originally a man an excuse to make it more acceptable? To be like, oh look, it's two women in a relationship, but it's okay really because one of them used to be a man. So one of them's really a man just pretending to be a woman. I mean, I think I would have preferred it if they'd just gone, hey, they're two women who are in love and that's it, right? But when you have to go, oh yeah, but one of them used to be a man who then turned into a woman, you're like, okay, so she's a woman now, but she used to be a man. So the question is, like, why does it matter that she used to be a man? Why are you making such a huge big deal of this? And I know there are people who have sex changes and stuff, and, you know, this sort of thing matters a lot to them. But it doesn't mean you need to ram it in our face and go, look, this is really important. Now, this is not the first character Paizo who have used a cursed belt to turn into a woman. Oh no. The first one was back in the Curse of the Crimson Throne adventure path. One of the Grey Maidens So, in the Curse of the Crimson Throne Adventure Path, there is a military organisation known as the Grey Maidens, and they treat their members rather poorly. In fact, the indoctrination process involves torturing them, bullying them, destroying all semblance of self, and grinding them down until they become evil, angry, man-hating lesbians who want to kill all the men, and are so inept in combat they're basically the stormtroopers from Star Wars. So, one of the Grey Maidens is a man who used the same kind of cursed belt to turn into a woman to enter the organisation to protect his sister. Well, to seek out his sister, who he believed had been indoctrinated as a member. And when he found her, he tried to protect her, and then she died, and he carried on being a woman, and eventually decided he kind of liked it and didn't want to turn back into being a man. So these are two different stories, right? You got the initial, very minor background NPC who's like, yeah, you know, he tried it, decided he liked it and wanted to stick with it. And then you got this one who always wanted to be a woman and felt that he should have never been a man in the first place, and turned into a woman and is now a somewhat masculine looking woman, to be honest. But so different circumstances, but this character is a much larger focus, right? I mean, the original one was like practically an optional. I mean, yeah, there's also the two married lesbians in Giant Slayer, who originally appeared as like throwaway NPCs in Cities of Golarion, or was it Towns of Golarion? I can't remember. But anyway, so the fact that Anevia's past as a man theoretically legitimizes her relationship for people who might be a bit homophobic makes me feel uncomfortable, because it feels so unnecessary. And I'm not saying, oh hey, wow, you know, magical world, I can't imagine that a man could turn into a woman and like it or something. No, at all. That's totally fine, right? It's more the fact that it seems to be kind of included as an excuse so that people don't feel uncomfortable about it. And that kind of forcefulness makes me actually feel uncomfortable. It's like, that was unnecessary. It's nice that you include it, but still feels a bit weird. So yeah, that's the big thing about Anevia I haven't really been overtly saying but mentioning previously. I don't know if this game's going to bring it up or if they're just not going to mention it at all, and it's fine one way or the other. It's just that, you know, the fact that she has a sort of false legitimacy to try and make her feel more comfortable makes me feel uncomfortable. It's you know, it's the Streisand effect, you know, trying too hard for something that doesn't need so much effort. Right, anyway, so are there any suspicious places in the city that I should pay attention to? There were a couple of spots I wanted to check out, but I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists there, it should be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. Anevia shoots you a crooked smile. Yeah, she's one of the less honourable faces of the crusade, as it were. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric, but they always seem oh so busy. They're busy with something in there, alright, but sewing it ain't. Yeah, seriously dodgy. Second one is the Alchemy Shop, Topaz Solutions. And they trade in everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going down in that place. Alright. And I could ask, but there's no way she should tell me that straight away, right? That's the sort of thing you want to know someone a bit better first. The girl shrugs with a lazy smile. I'll be happy to, but there's kind of nothing to tell. What's so interesting about me? Don't matter, you're married, you're taken, and honestly, this isn't a game about getting shagadelic with every NPC in sight. This is a game about the evil demons trying to invade the world, and hey, that's a really big priority right now. It's just like, hey, so where did you come from? Nowhere. I was blown in the wind and found in a cabbage patch. The girl stopped short. Sorry, that's an old habit of mine. I don't like blabbing about my past, but you saved my skin, so I guess I kinda owe it to you not to clown around, right? Well, I don't know. I'm from Nadal. Oh. Oh! Well, that's interesting. So, Nidal is a very sadistic cult north of Cheliax, where they worship Zon-Kuthon, the evil bondage god of bondage, straps, whips, chains, chopping off people's fingers, and all kinds of nasty, horrible things. A very nasty place. And if she was from there and always wanted to be a woman, was like, hey, I feel wrong about my body, I'd say Nadal would be a very appropriate place for characters who are not comfortable with their bodies, considering all of the mutilation they often force upon them. I'm from Nadal, and I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. You've heard of the place, I'm sure, ruled by monsters that aren't alive or dead, and the official religion is the cult of Zon-Kuthon. I grew up in a slum like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had lots of aunts and uncles. My mum's cronies, so in other words, your mother was a whore. No prize for guessing what kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon, and while other kids were picking their noses, I was picking locks. Yeah, there's quite a few undead in the Nidalese government as well. Yeah, like lots of vampires and stuff like that. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. They're the guards in Nizrock. Mum gave me to her friends, and we hid in a secret temple of Desna. I never saw my mum again. So, Nadal's kind of... I mean, let's see. So, Cheliax is very Italian. Nadal is a bit more sort of Spanish-Italian mix in terms of, like, the way the people from there look and their sort of attitude and outlook, but then also the heavy death cult and torture and torment. There are some worshippers, a few heretical worshippers of Zon-Kuthon, who believe that actually he's taking on the suffering so that other people don't have to experience it. And most of the worshippers of Zon-Kuthon are like, no, you fool! Zon-Kuthon is all about hurting people and beating the living shit out of them! Shut up and stop lying! He's about hurting us. He's not about suffering for our sins. Yeah. I laid low in the temple for the next few years. Kept my head down. I washed floors, fetched water, listened to sermons. Funny thing, after a while I started liking Desna's teachings, but as soon as I was old enough, I was out of there. I left Nadal and got as far away as I could. Well, thanks for that. I'm gonna bugger off now and talk to some other people. Thanks for asking. Telling you all this kind of made me feel better. I don't know why. I'm sure you've told other people like your wife. I suppose keeping it all secret and bottled up all the time, sometimes you just want to let things out. So, yeah, I've got to go. Alright, you watch yourself now. Hey, Lan, how are you liking this whole surface thing? It's got a sky and everything, and clouds! Have you even oh no, you have been up on the surface once or twice before. Lan greets you with a nod. Here for a chat? I've been waiting for you to come and see what strange beast you've taken into your party. Yeah, he has a really annoying accent. He's like super hardcore American. He's actually kind of like transatlantic a bit, maybe. It's hard to tell. Tell me about your people. No, what do you think of life here on the surface? It must be very different from life underground. Of course! As far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to be. It's easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house, and even grow a few things. In older, well-established settlements, you don't have to deal with anything scarier than rats, or maybe foxes stealing chickens. As for the kind of lives you have, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while the others watched. But there were some brave crusader knights nearby, and they killed the villains and saved everyone. So in that case, the demon worshippers didn't start sacrificing everyone if the crusaders saved everyone. That doesn't make sense, Lan. And I heard another story. A young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire, couldn't work to feed his wife and baby. They tried their best and lived from hand to mouth, but they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveler one night on the road, but there were some brave crusader knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long after, his wife smothered their baby and hanged herself. Yeah, that's, so maybe he doesn't think so highly of the crusaders after all. Up here, the same person can proudly say he's protecting the innocent from demons and then look the other way while the same innocent starves, just because they were born into a poor family. Queen Galfrey prolongs her life with sun orchid elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. Does she feel there's no one else up to the task of ruling in her stead? Back in our caves, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We don't abandon our own in times of trouble. That's the power of a tribe. The laws of the surface are made so that some can get everything and others get nothing. I might just be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less. Anyway, look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do, so... Althea, she likes the ideal of lawful good, but has problems being lawful enough. Never given needy... I've been given more than most, which means I'm now more able to help others. I haven't been given more than most, I'm just a player character. We're in a struggle for our very survival against the abyss. This is no time to upend society in a quest of fair... Yeah, that's kind of true, but... if we all get corrupt and greedy and fighting each other and squabbling over stuff, yeah. Oh yes, I have a few questions about our... No. Evil? No. Look, mate, there's demons, there's bigger troubles, and... I mean, yeah. We do need to sort out our own problems, because then we'll do a better job sorting out the demons, but overall the demons are a much higher priority. If they come rampaging through, we shouldn't be sitting around squabbling about whether we can legalize gay marriage, or something like that. It's like, no, look, there's demons killing us in the face, let's kill them back fast, and drive them out. So we're in a struggle for us very survival against the abyss. This is no time to upend society in a quest for fairness. So, you think if the Worldwound hadn't happened, the surface would have already changed for the better? I'm not so sure. I'm not even sure my kinfolk wouldn't find their way to inventing their own aristocracy, if they ever got their hands on anything valuable enough to divide unfairly. But what's the point of being prince of all caves, holes, and gorges if your only throne is a boulder and your only crown is made of rat skulls? Yeah, it's a fair point, but let's bugger off for now. Come on, I want to get out of this place, right?
We march ahead.
Seela, why did they give you such a hard, almost slightly raspy American voice? Seela smiles at you warmly. Hey there! During that march through the dungeon, we never got the chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time I shake your hand. You know, Irabeth said your friend Jana Aldori is missing. Do you know where we should look for her? Irabeth is worried about her fighters. I understand that. I wanted to look for Jana myself, so I didn't distract you, but since you're in this too, I could use some help. Jana and I met in Canabres a few days ago and just hit it off. We went drinking together, we went to that unforgettable celebration together too, but we got separated in the crowd. So we should start looking from the main square. That's where I last saw her. Seela frowns. Jana's a good fighter, even if she is green. She couldn't have come back. She couldn't have become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. What do you think of what's going on in Canabres at the moment? It's complete chaos. It's lucky we're here to handle it, right? Seela smiles brightly, then she gives you a worried look. Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blasé. Many good people and our protector Terendelev died here in Canabres. A paladin of Eomade is expected to be properly respectful and solemn, but also gentle and kind. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against you. It can undermine a warrior's spirit. It's better we hold off on grief until we've driven the last demon and cultist from the city. If we want to win, we can't be mourning our deceased day and night. Plus, joy heals the soul. There's wisdom in the traditions of mourning, and one shouldn't reject them. All the more so if inappropriate merriment could offend other mourners. Many people's loved ones perished in Canabres. Ooh. I don't think I should be trying to guide her or push her down any particular path. She's got a good idea where she wants to be in life. A bit of joy could be uplifting. But should I remain fairly neutral in this, saying, no, I'm not bothered by how you talk. Yeah, I'll go with that for now. Now you're talking sense. Well, you can trust my sword. I mean, sometimes you do slightly seem to mix your metaphors a bit, but I think that's more of an American to English translation issue. Is fighting demons all you want, or are you looking for something more? How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads, or at least a dozen, if they're lively ones? Seela's eyes shine cheerfully. Anyway, to be more serious, the area around the Worldwound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve good. Being part of the crusade is rewarding enough for me, but there's something that worries me. I didn't want to sound like I'm criticising my brothers in arms, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focused on just one aim: the war against the Worldwound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things. Ordinary misfortunes. You know. I've always liked being a wandering knight, because any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat man whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favourite dog has gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it. A little bit here and there. You know, just making the world a better place, one step at a time. I'm not going to tell her to bugger off. Alright, well look, thanks for speaking to me. Nah, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'd like to know a bit more about you. Of course. Ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Ooh. When Tuscari attacked Canabres, everything seemed to be lost, but the first person I met after the catastrophe was you, my sister in faith. I believe this is a sign that Eomade watches over us. I hope that's true. Although, to be honest, our mentors used to warn us against being too eager to see messages from the goddess in every little thing. Being devout is all well and good, but you've got to rely on your own head. Sounds like she needs a little more wisdom. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? You mentioned being a street thief. Are you Kadiran or a Siriani? I'd say it's hard to tell. And why does she have this weird pointed elf ear in the artwork that looks bonkers? It's like, that is a really odd angle. Also, it's like some of the angles of her face are a bit odd. Like the jaw is a bit more stern than I would have expected. There's actually a nice little mod somewhere on the Nexus that gives her a slightly nicer portrait, just like alters the facial features ever so slightly. I might use it in future, I'll see. Oh, Geb, okay. I'm a little bit from Geb, a little bit from Katapesh, but mostly from the Knights of Eomade. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to their ranks more than I belong to any other place. Ah, Katapesh. And of course, Katapesh is so close to Marrakesh in many ways. That a lot of the Golarion place names are like a pastiche of our own world. That's because the style of Golarion is intended to be like pulp fiction from the 1920s and 30s. Cheap, trashy, highly derivative of things we recognise and know. And that's intended. It's the kind of genre they're going for. You come to Mendev by the long road then, haven't you? A very long one. Seela looks at you cheerfully. A traveller is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I have only 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging. And that just won't do, will it now? Especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with chupacabras. Oh, yeah, they did put chupacabras in Pathfinder in, was it the Serpent Skull Adventure Path, I think? Or, I'm not sure if they actually used them. Yeah, that attitude. Right, this is an interesting one, right? Isn't your attitude towards life and war too carefree, especially for a paladin? Alignment isn't personality, it's attitude. But here's the thing. The things she says and the things she does are 2 different things. She can put on a more relaxed, easygoing facade to keep others at ease and make them feel like, hey, you don't have to be as strict and stern as I am. Leading by example. And then she can continue to be more honourable herself. You can't tempt me with a story about fighting chupacabras and then not follow through. What are chupacabras, by the way? Incredibly repulsive magical beasts, fast and dangerous. They can... Well, it looks like someone's fooled me into starting the tale. I guess now I'll have to tell you the whole story. Well, go on then. Picture a small town in Kadira, and down in the dungeon there's 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them, the rope's been bought, but sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly a paladin of Iomade appears by the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they live. If they survive, that is. There's a big difference between imminent death and probable death with a glimmer of hope, wouldn't you say? So, here we are, travelling through the desert, me and my friend, the priestess of Sarenrae, along with the... Oh... I've forgotten her name, but I know who she means. Along with the little Ratman fellow who'd asked for our help and the 2 cutthroats. We get to the Ratman village and saw their bodies lying around all drained dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how the little Ratman described the monsters who attacked their village. That's why we went in all brazen-like. The sun was high and the vampires couldn't attack until dusk. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows, quick as the wind, attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but chupacabras. One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. That left me, the Ratman, and Kira. Yeah, Kira, that's her. That was the name of the priestess, and we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. Yet we know Kira is alive because she's the iconic cleric, just as Seela is the iconic paladin. Which means we might actually see Kira in a future adventure path, and that'd be interesting, right? And just when we thought the end had come, with the chupacabras surrounding me like a pack of dogs surround a bear, and our Ratman friend wounded and down, the teeth of the quickest of those blasted monsters were clenched on Kira's shoulder. Right then, when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly came running back. He kills the beast attacking Kira. I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before, we were lost, and a moment later we had it back under control. The chupacabras dropped dead one by one. The little Ratman is reunited with his family who were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I closed the eyes of that boy from the gallows who saved us. It was a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul in its journey through the afterlife. You know, that's a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead he died a hero. and I'd fancy the stunt earned him some points at his final judgment. It's smart to remember our journey doesn't end in death. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos, that was his name, would have been hung from a noose, and me, Kira, and the Ratman would be dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious, but by the same token, an evil deed done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. That's what I really wanted to say, but chupacabras were just a good starting point. Well, thank you for that. I think I've learned something nice. I'll talk to you soon. I hope I didn't bore you. Ask me if something else if you like. That's okay. Look, we'll have plenty of time out in the town and later. See you. Now let's go talk to Irabeth before. Oh, hey, what's this? Loot? Why? Why am I being invited to steal from Red Crusaders? No, they'll fucking deck me. Irabeth, who doesn't sound anything like a paladin from Neverwinter Nights 1 at all, rubs her red and tired eyes. Oh my god, can you imagine if she was like Arabeth? Charge up to go, I must speak with you! And then whisper really quietly. Yes, Arabeth of the inconsistent volumes. Yes, her voice level would just go up and down, and it was just really inconsistent. Any success? How's the city? Tell me about the Eagle Watch. It was a small order created to fight not only demons but also the enemy within, to maintain the purity of the paladin ranks, prevent heresy, and identify spies. And it failed miserably at that. The Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth infiltrated it and formed their nest within our ranks. The Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth, are they the, yeah, they're the cultists we fought against. After the Queen entrusted me with leading the order, Anevia and I practically built it from scratch. We got rid of a lot of dead weight, people who weren't committed. We organised ways to transmit messages and orders safely. We introduced reliable ciphers. We found tacit allies around the city, from crusader orders to street beggars. This was my personal crusade, to purge the city of the Templars who had infested it, and I thought I was winning. I could feel it. We were so close to driving the cultists out of Canabras, but Irabeth frowns. It's hard to admit, but those successes didn't count for much once the demons entered the city. Hey, now steady on, right? Look, if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be a headquarters at the Defender's Heart. The cultists would have served up the city on a platter to the demons, but you've stood fast and helped protect this place. Keep it safe. The lines on Irabeth's forehead soften. Yes, that's true. It's a good thing we've achieved something. Thank you. Alright, so what's our main objective? You heard what that demon said. They're going to desecrate the Wardstone and blow up the whole barrier around the Worldwound. That would be an even worse disaster than the Worldwound's expansion before the Second Crusade. Not only Canabras, but every city with a Wardstone will be destroyed, including the capital. Mendev's like way back, like half a country away from the Worldwound, man. Where are you talking about with the capital? We can't allow that, no matter what. We will retake it, even destroy it if we must. Very Diablo 2. Iomede's gift must not become a weapon for the Abyss. So, what are the Wardstones exactly? You clearly know more than I on this matter, because I'm apparently asking. They are our greatest treasure. The shield given us by Iomede herself and placed in Canabras, and other Mendevian cities and fortresses by her herald. The chain of wardstones forms a protective barrier that stops the expansion of the Worldwound and keeps the demons from moving beyond its borders. I shudder to think what will happen if that barrier falls. Look, I could ask you personal stuff, but why should I pry? You're really busy right now. Look, I've got to go. Go. May Iomede keep you safe. So we have more leveling to do. Larn, you like to shoot stuff, you like to shoot stuff well. Let's do that. A bit more athletics, a bit more mobility. As a monk, you really should have a little religious knowledge. Right. Deadly aim, that's for power attack of ranged weapons, isn't it? Yes, it is. Key pool. Yeah. Is this a general feat or a bonus feat? This is a... Alright. Fast movement. Magic. Point blank master. Zen archery. So I need to be looking for... I can't scroll across. Class progression. Is it on here somewhere? No, it's really not. Okay then. Right. In that case, yeah, deadly aim, go for it. Point blank master, sure. Yes, why can't I... 1 point of... it's gotta be longbow, sure. That's what he uses so well. And then, of course, we should probably turn that off. Stick here for sealer for now. Alright, bit of athletics, bit of persuasion. She could do a bit of perception. Why does she have no knowledge of religion when she's a religious character? Come on, let's get her reading up on scripture a bit more. What the hell is going on with that scabbard? It's just hanging so low. And also it should be hanging from like here and here, not like that's a bit weird. And also she just has such a tiny head. The pauldrons must be truly massive. Normally she's often seen with a helmet on though, so that can make her head look a lot larger. Right. What have we got so far? We got dodge, shield focus. Okay. Okay. You want weapon focus? As a devout worshipper of Yomade, absolutely weapon focus longsword makes a lot of sense. Yeah, let's go for that. And it's not technically a longsword, it's a one-handed sword, I know. Right. Oh, we need to... Right. So a mercy. A mercy is applied when she uses her lay on hands ability. It's a bonus secondary effect. Fatigued is great if we have any barbarians in a party. Shaken is good for removing free. I like the fact it shows the prereqs. Good. Sickened to nauseated to something else. When do we get diseased? Level 6. Okay. These aren't showing prereqs though, so let's see if I go frightened. Requires... Ah, yes, good. Right. Stunned. Staggered. I'm looking for any others, because there are chains, right? There's a few chains. Mercy sickened. Mercy sickened nauseated. No, just sickened nauseated. That's a long time. Yeah, it's 9 when the big ones come in, right? Shaken, frightened. So, fortitude saves, will saves. Exhausted is not always self-inflicted. Diseased, we'll probably take that. Dazed. Pretty nasty. Cursed. Oh, wow. Okay. So what are the demons more likely to inflict? Probably. Sickened would be like... Yeah, we're going to go shaken. Sickened would be things like swarms and stuff. And vermin. There we go. And now we can actually head outside the building. I know. We've finally escaped from the Defender's Heart into the courtyard of the Defender's Heart. What's this? This place has been sanctified. It can protect the area around it from the corruption of the abyss. That's great. Hello?
Our path leads on.
Okay, the information thing, I can't click on it and find anything, just walk up to it. So we have a group of survivors here, outside, who haven't been able to make it inside the building. I see... Oh, hello. That'll be Staunton Vane's brother, Joran Vane. Let's go talk to him. A grizzled dwarf turns a blade in his callous hands, carefully inspecting its edge. When he sees you approaching, he sets the blade aside and greets you with a nod. A new face in the city. You've picked a good time to come to Canabres. As you can see, we're in sore need of warriors. Are you Staunton Vane's brother? Yep. Where he goes, I go. That's how we've always done it. Even before the Worldwound. I forge the armour, he goes into battle and breaks it, he brings it back to me and I repair it and make it better than before. Everything's changed since then, of course, but that part's stayed the same. We will show him radiance. Do you recognise this sword? Do I recognise it? Of course I do. I made this with my own hands. Here's my brand, see? The dwarf carefully takes the sword in his hands, gazing at it like a doting father. Oh, Yaniel, things have been tough without you, but at least we've still got your sword. That's something. Joram returns the sword to you. In battle, ordinary swords get blunted. They break, but sometimes a weapon can persevere. Can preserve. Now that is preserve. Interesting. But sometimes a weapon can preserve. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm no authority on these things, but something like an echo of the deeds done with that weapon. Or more like the reflection of the wielder's soul. I don't know. I will say one thing. Take care of that sword. Yaniel may no longer be with us, but the demons will still remember why they need to turn tail and run when they see radiance. Can you restore it to its former glory? Ah, the scabbard's all worn. We can't be having a fine sword like this being carried around in that tatty thing. I'll make you a new one if you like. If the city stands strong and we both survive, come see me again and I'll have it ready. No charge. Absolutely. A sword like this deserves a fine scabbard. How was Staunton to blame for the fall of Drezen? I've told this story so many times already. Well, telling it one more won't kill me. The blacksmith sighs. Drezen was built after the First Crusade, back when it seemed like victory was ours for the taking and the demon invasion would soon be at an end. The population of Old Sarkoris was thoroughly diminished, and many of them hoped to see their hard fighting repaid with a small plot of unclaimed land. Drezen was a fortress built on all our hopes and on Mendev's ambitions, though you're not supposed to say that out loud. What a city it was, Althea Melenos. You can't even imagine. It was built by the finest engineers from the Five Kings Mountains. Queen Galfrey spared no expense. Drezen was meant to be the capital of the crusade movement, a monument to its glory and a beacon of hope for all Golarion. Heroes were drawn through to seek fame and glory, and they came from all over. Taldor, Garun, Tianja. I couldn't list them all. A relic known as the Sword of Valor was kept there, a banner that had been carried into battle by Iomade herself back when she was still human. That banner protected the city and kept the demons from teleporting inside its walls. As long as the banner was in its place, Drezen was invincible. Or so we thought. Yeah, Iomade was human. She is often known as the Inheritor Goddess, or simply the Inheritor. When Aradon, the god of humanity, was killed, I think he was even assassinated, Iomade took over. She was one of his worshippers, and she carried on holding the faith and keeping people together. And then she carried out the 12 acts of Iomedae, which eventually made her a goddess. At least that's what most people know. But then the Worldwound suddenly expanded. The demons launched a new assault, and folks started saying it was time to declare the Second Crusade. Dresden was unassailable until one young officer was tempted by a beautiful woman. She convinced him that the banner shouldn't be hanging in the city, but its rightful place was on the battlefield. She whispered honeyed words about glory and valour and convinced him that he could be a hero as great as Iomedae herself, and the poor fellow believed her. He rounded up some of his hot-headed friends and carried the banner outside the city gates to an unauthorised foray. Sorry, on an unauthorised foray. Yeah, absolutely. To a foray, no. On a foray, yes. The demons slaughtered him within seconds, but for some reason the courageous ringleader was spared. A whole army teleported into Dresden. It was a bloodbath. Joran solemnly shakes his head. As you can guess, that officer was called Staunton Vane, and the woman turned out to be a demon. Not just any demon. It was Minago, that foul wretch. She's given us a lot of grief here in Canabrez too. Just don't ask me what I was doing while my brother was off having trysts with that beast, and why I didn't save him from his own stupidity. The blacksmith gestures as if to ward off the inevitable reprobation. Who could have guessed that it would end like this? I failed my brother, that's the truth. I blame myself every day looking at his plight, so that's the story. Alright, well, since my throat's starting to go a bit, why don't you show me your wares? Yeah, look, I've had the sniffles for the last few days, okay? My sister's a right typhoid Mary, and she came round to visit, brought her little boy with her, and then after she came, she told us he had a cold, and then we started to feel bad. Yeah, it's not good. Anyway, what have we here that's of quality? Banded mail +1. Theoretical upgrade. Shield +1. Okay, so we... You know. Ooh. That shield might be worth it. Rugged helmet. Oh! 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 This helmet grants the wearer, not grants the wearer, a damage reduction free /melee. Oh, so it's just for like shooting and stuff. Okay, not so good then. -3 penalty perception checks. Yeah, okay. Light shield +1. Armor of vigilance. +4 bonus against sneak attacks. Okay, living ram. Whenever the wearer of this +1 breastplate uses the charge combat maneuver and hits an enemy, they deal an additional 1d6 bludgeoning damage, and the enemy has to pass a reflex save or become prone. Okay, so it's just a knockdown. Smasher. That's an Earthbreaker, so it's a big two-handed hammer. Necrotic. So it deals extra melee damage. Extra... what's it damage? Enemies pass a fortitude saving throw of -2 strength. Okay, so it could be just strength training. Attrition dagger. These are all like highly expensive. Detainer. Merry-go-round. Whenever this +1 heavy flail misses an attack, the next attack its wielder makes, no matter if it hits or misses, deals an additional 1d6 bludgeoning damage. So it's just building up momentum. Pain channeler. Touch tech. Okay, so good for like a magus or something. Yeah, Butcher of the Undead. +1 was, that's just, nah, that's not very good. An extra +1 to hit undead, not massive. Roaring Hand Axe, additional +1 sonic damage, like crossbow force. Light mace of severe strike. Whenever it confirms a critical hit, it only threats on 20, so that's not going to happen very often. So these are well-made weapons. Come on. Weapons, weapons, weapons. This is a very good list if you know what you want. For now though, I think we want to get a bit more money before considering any of those magic items. And this is probably a good place to leave the episode. Look, we got out of the pub. We're in the courtyard, okay? We're making progress. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now, everybody, and cheerio, okay? You look after yourselves.